We're gonna start with a basic strengthener for the infraspinatus and the teres minor. You're gonna take the strap and pull it apart until your hands are wider than your elbows. Okay, so you see right now, my elbows are actually in underneath the shoulders, and I'm gonna pull the strap apart. Now what I'm gonna ask you to do is pull your shoulders back. So retract your shoulder blades a little bit, but bring your elbows forward. And all you're gonna do is pull the strap apart. And as you pull the strap apart with your elbows forward and your shoulders back, your elbows will wanna go out like this, okay? So you're gonna draw your elbows all the way in and pull the strap apart, and then keep pulling the strap apart and bring your elbows out. So this is internal rotation. Now, pull the strap apart, and this is external rotation when your elbows are in because the biceps are facing out. The arms are externally rotating at the glenohumeral joint. Keep pulling the strap apart, let the elbows go out. This is gonna be more deltoids that's gonna create this. This is more abduction of the arms, okay, than it is rotation. And then we create external rotation by bringing the elbows down and in and pull the strap apart. So the hands are wider than the elbows. Come up like this. You'll feel your deltoids as you pull the strap apart, and then come down, elbows in, palms up, pull the strap apart. You should feel those muscles now lighting up in the back of your shoulder blade there. Those lovely muscles of the rotator cuff that are external rotators. I want to do one more thing with the strap just to really get these muscles awake even more. Same exercise as earlier. Bring the elbows forward, hands are wide. You're gonna pull the strap apart. I'm gonna make this exercise easier to experience the activation of the rotator cuff muscles, specifically the external rotators, by taking the hands wide already. So elbows forward and in, hands pull out, and as you do so, you're gonna try to let one side win. I'll come a little bit closer so you can see. I'm gonna let one side win, not out with the elbow, but rotationally, and then the other side wins, rotationally, so that the arm bone is literally rotating externally, internally, okay? With the blanket or towel, you're gonna place it underneath your left hand to start, and for the easiest scenario, you'll have your right palm firmly planted on the ground, and you'll just have your weight even. And then you're just gonna do outward circles of the left arm like this, as if you're waxing the floor. Okay, now for a bit more of a challenge on the rotator cuff muscles, you take weight off of your right hand, maybe come up on your fingertips, and you put more weight in your left hand. Okay, that's gonna significantly increase the amount of friction of the blanket and the floor, making it harder on your rotator cuff. For even more intense, you come up to one finger, and some of you can put all of your weight here. Well, not all, so you have your weight in your knees, obviously, but more of your weight with the right hand off, and that's gonna significantly increase the friction because your weight is in your hand now. The next thing you can do is same idea with amount of weight. You place both palms on the ground, and you're just going to externally and internally rotate the arm bone. Now this shouldn't be at all from the radial ulnar joint. It should all be from the upper arm bone. Okay, you gotta be mindful on your wrist. I'm actually gripping my fingers into, and in fact, if it hurts at all, sometimes it's better to have less padding on the wrist as you grip into the wash towel or the bath towel, whatever you have, okay? So, of course, same idea, more weight, more friction, more strength opportunity here, and try not to do it at the wrist, do it all at the shoulder, okay? Keep getting those rotations. This is internal and external rotation that are getting strengthened. We can strengthen our supraspinatus by holding some weight in the hands. And I suggest, so you could strengthen the supraspinatus with internal rotation. I suggest not going much higher than, let's say, chest height, as what happens for a lot of people is the collision course starts to happen sooner when you have weights in your hand. Be mindful, if you do feel any pain, you have two options. Don't go as high with the arms, or lift your shoulders up first before going up and keep your trapezius muscle active. And you'll probably find that if you keep your shoulders up while you go up with your arms, that the pain goes away at the glenohumeral joint where the impingement would happen. And that's just because you're changing the angle of the joint there. You're changing where that chromium process is. And you want to add one more on. This won't really get the supraspinatus here, but just to go in this direction, you get your rear deltoids, posterior delt, and you're probably going to get some of your, if you keep the blocks close into your body instead of going out this way, but you try to go back and in, you'll get some of that activation of your infraspinatus, and maybe teres major and minor might help as well. Your hand to the ground, grip your fingers into the ground, externally rotate by pulling the shoulder blade back first, and then rotate the arm bone externally. You're gonna get that infraspinatus and teres minor active. Now, move the weight towards the wall and make sure your shoulder is not over the wrist so you don't overload that shoulder joint. Externally rotate continuously and take either wild thing, foot on the wall, option B, option C, pull the knee into the chest, option D, grab the foot, option E, or 5, extend the leg into extended Vashisthasana. All the while, it's really about that bottom shoulder stabilizing, externally rotating. That's a lot of rotator cuff muscle activation.